want to leave my girlfriend who was roped.
I'm so curious to hear what this guy's gonna say. Yo, imagine your girl goes to something as sensitive as getting and your first thought is, you know what? I don't think this is gonna work. What's good, YouTube? Today, we are going to be looking at funny Reddit story times. Y'all like the TikTok her story time, so let's do the Reddit story times. Y'all know this is gonna be terrible. Without further ado, let's get started.
What happened at school that still doesn't feel real? I was halfway through the state exam when my prosthetic hand started malfunctioning. In just seconds, my fingers were curling in on itself. Mr. Rogers, I gasped as the motors whined. Something's wrong with my prosthetic. Mr. Rogers didn't even glance up from his clipboard. State testing protocol. No disruptions, no exceptions. The mechanical fingers were digging into the...
Let me find out I got one more functioning arm and your ass is telling me no distractions. Buddy, I'm damn near built like a pitchfork. The least you could do is help me out.
Palm now. The pressure was way beyond what it should be. This is a medical emergency. The safety features aren't working. How convenient. He finally looked at me. Your prosthetic just happens to break during the most important test of the year. Crack. One of the plastic joints in the thumb snapped. It's literally...
Bro, I'm already disadvantaged. I don't have an arm. You got an arm. You think I was born to not want an arm? What makes you think it's okay?
Breaking apart, then you should have taken better care of your equipment. The prosthetic hand was designed to grip with the same pressure as a normal human hand, but it was squeezing way harder than that now. Please just let me disconnect it because there's an emergency release button. Touch that device and you fail automatically since no electronic devices are allowed during state exams. Destiny, who is sitting next to me.
I got a prosthetic arm and you telling me touch it and you will be disqualified. Yo, whoever Mr. Rogers is, he dead wants you to fail.
Over and whispered with concern in her voice, is that smoke coming from your arm? Gray fog was rising from my wrist joint where the motors were overheating.
Wait, prosthetic arms are actually robotic? Like, I thought they were just like a fake, like, you know, just arm. They actually have like robotic functions in it. Like, it's something that you could charge. Let me find out I'm with bro and his prosthetic arm starts smoking. I'm gonna just call him a clanker. Real talk. I'm gonna just say you're a bot. You're an NPC.
And the smell of burning plastic filled my nostrils while the heat spread up my forearm. Mr. Rogers, it's literally on fire. Stop being dramatic when we only have 17 minutes left. The prosthetic hand suddenly...
My arm is burning! What are we doing, Mr. Rogers? Do I gotta damn near like light up on fire for your ass to like actually let me disconnect my arm?
Jerked open with all 5 fingers shooting straight out, then slammed back into a fist with so much force that my desk cracked under the impact. It felt like someone was trying to unscrew my arm from my body. Oh my gosh! Willie shouted from the back row as he jumped to his feet. We need to get him help now before something worse happens. Silence! Mr. Rogers roared with his face turning red. The next person who speaks gets expelled from the district. Jane from 2 rows over was frantic.
I don't know what test they're taking, but clearly he has some sort of like attachment to whatever test they're taking. You're gonna get expelled if you talk.
Texting under her desk while trying to stay hidden. I'm calling my mom because she's a nurse at the hospital. Phone now. Mr. Rogers marched toward her with his hand extended. I tried reaching for the emergency release with my left hand, but my fingers were shaking too badly to grip the small button properly. The prosthetic was rotating now, with the entire hand spinning way past its normal range of motion. Blood ran down my arm and dripped onto the test paper. Someone call 911! Destiny was crying as she jumped up and ran for the door in desperation. Mr. Rogers moved quickly to block her path. Sit down immediately or your
He's bleeding! Yo, he's bleeding, bro! What more evidence do you need? He's literally dripping blood. What are we doing here, bro? We have lost a plot and then some, bro. Yo, Mr. Rogers needs to get arrested.
Suspended for the rest of the year. He's bleeding and needs medical attention, she screamed directly in his face. Everyone needs to put their phones away now because state testing violations will be prosecuted to the fullest extent. 3 more students stood up simultaneously, and Josh, the quarterback who'd never gotten in trouble before, stepped into the aisle with determination. This is insane, and you need to let him get help before it's too late. You want to lose your football scholarship, Josh? Then sit down and be quiet. Every forced rotation.
Oh my goodness. Yo, whoever Mr. Rogers is, he hates the whole class.
Sent lightning bolts of pain through my nerves while the burning smell grew stronger. Just rip it off and get it over with, someone yelled from the corner. I couldn't do that. The titanium post was surgically implanted directly into my bone after 8 months of procedures, drilled right into the marrow. Katie was crying while banging on the window to get someone's attention in the hallway. Help! Somebody please help us! He's dying! Mr. Rogers marched over to where I was writhing in my seat. This ridiculous performance ends right now. Don't touch it! I screamed as loud as I could. Mr. Rogers, no! Multiple students yelled in unison as they saw him reaching for my arm, but he grabbed the prosthetic wrist with both hands. I've had enough of your attention-seeking behavior and fake emergencies, he yanked with all his strength. The sound that came out of me wasn't human. He didn't just pull off a prosthetic like taking off a glove. He ripped out the metal post drilled into my bone, chunks of muscle tissue.
What? No, he gotta get arrested. I swear to God, if this story doesn't end with this man doing 5 years to life, 20 years to life minimum.
I'm reaching for my arm, but he grabbed the prosthetic wrist.
Imagine trying to prove a point that much that you actually yank out muscle tissue out of someone's arm, bro.
Hands. I've had enough of your attention-seeking behavior and fake emergencies, he yanked with all his strength. The sound that came out of me wasn't human. He didn't just pull off a prosthetic like taking off a glove. He ripped out the metal post drilled into my bone, chunks of muscle tissue, and connected nerves. Blood sprayed across 3 desks. I hit the floor hard, clutching what was left of my arm with my remaining hand. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh! Multiple voices were screaming at once. Nobody move! He was backing away slowly while still holding my prosthetic like he couldn't believe what he'd done.
Let me find out Mr. Rogers did all of that and still calling it performative. Let me find out Mr. Rogers says, oh, all you need is a little band-aid to cover you up. Mr. Rogers, I will be sliming you out.
Done. His face had turned completely white. State testing protocol says Willie was slamming his full body weight against the door repeatedly. It's locked. Why the hell? Is it locked? Automatic locks engage during testing periods, and no one leaves for 13 more minutes. Josh and 3 other football players rushed toward Mr. Rogers at once. Give us your keys right now. Stay back or you're all getting expelled and losing your futures.
Yo, Mr. Rogers, there's a kid literally losing muscle tissues, bro. Did you not hear the part where I said blood sprayed across 3 your desk? Did we lose the plot here? At this point, no, this is attempted murder.
My vision started tunneling to black while the pain reached levels beyond description. Stay with me and keep your eyes open. Destiny was slapping my face gently. Don't you dare close your eyes. More students were pounding on the door from both sides, and someone picked up a desk chair with determination. Don't you dare break that, Mr. Rogers started to say. Crash. The window shattered into 1,000 pieces as the chair went through it. Bang. The door suddenly exploded open, and the janitor stood there holding a set of master keys. His eyes widened as he took in the scene of blood and chaos. What the F? Call 911 now! Everyone screamed at once. At the hospital, I had to go through 3 surgeries. First one just to save my life. Second, to repair what they could. Third, to prepare for a new prosthetic someday. I had 40% blood loss. Any more and I wouldn't have made it. Mr. Rogers was arrested in the parking lot. My prosthetic still in his hand. My tissue still hanging.
Good. That's crazy. Imagine losing your life because your test teacher thought the test was more important than your life. Imagine if this actually ended with his ass not even getting the help he needed, and he was just like literally just laid there on the class. 13 minutes. If they didn't bang on the window or smash to the glass, he would have been goners.
From it. The state testing board gave him paid leave, but that wasn't enough. He tore my arm off, so I was ready to tear apart his life, limb by limb.
Next story, what do we got? That was an insane story.
Have you ever heard a child say something innocent that made your blood run cold?
Yo, what are y'all gonna do if you have a child and then he shows you his drawing? He's like, look what I drew. And then he draws your face X'd out. You're being sent to the adoption, bro. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Kids are much creepier than we think. I feel like that's one of my biggest fears. Having a child that's creepy as hell.
I've been driving a taxi in Miami for 12 years, and I thought I'd heard everything. Kids telling me about their goldfish funerals, their parents' divorce drama, their weird uncles who smell like cheese. But last Thursday afternoon, a 7-year-old boy with a Spider-Man backpack and a cherry lollipop said something that made me grip the steering wheel so hard my knuckles went white. I picked them up outside a convenience store on the edge of town around 3 p.m. The boy was all energy and sticky fingers from his lollipop, practically bouncing as he climbed in. His father followed him in, looking tired but forcing a smile. Airport, please, the father said, tossing a duffel bag beside him. First time flying? I asked, catching the boy's eyes in my rearview mirror. No, he said proudly, taking a big lick of his lollipop. But it's my first time flying without mommy. That's when I noticed the father shift uncomfortably, suddenly very interested in his phone. Oh yeah? Where's mommy today? I asked, just making conversation as we merged onto the highway. The boy took another lick of his lollipop. We left her at the beach. He said it so cheerfully, like it was the most normal thing in the world. I laughed, thinking they'd dropped her off for a spa day or something. That's nice. Is she getting some relaxation time? The father cleared his throat loudly, but the kid kept talking. No, she was being really annoying to Daddy. She kept crying and saying we can't go without her, but Daddy said she was ruining everything. My hands tensed on the wheel. Something felt off. At the beach, huh? Which beach? I asked, keeping my voice casual. The old one with all the broken wood. Daddy had to carry her there because she didn't want to walk. She kept trying to...
Is this a murder confession? Wait, hold on. Where is this going, bro? Bro, if I'm the dad, I'm slapping the child. I'm like, shut your ass up. Bro, you exposing the plot. Shut your ass up. Oh, nah, bro. No, that child is a menace too. How are you that comfortable that your mom is gone?
She kept trying to grab me, but Daddy said we had to hurry. The father finally looked up. Kids, right? Such imaginations. We were just playing a game, but his laugh was forced.
Imaginations? Buddy, he said you took her to the woods. I don't think he's imagining anything.
And I could see sweat beading on his forehead despite the AC blasting cold. Mommy wasn't playing, the boy continued, now drawing shapes in the fog his breath made on the window. She was screaming, but Daddy said the waves were too loud for anyone to hear anyway. The father reached over and ruffled his son's hair too hard. That's enough, buddy. The nice man doesn't want to hear our silly stories. But the boy, completely oblivious to the mounting tension, added one more detail that made my blood run cold. Daddy even took her phone and threw it in the water. He said she didn't need it anymore. My mouth went dry. 20 years of driving, you develop instincts about people, and every instinct I had was...
What are y'all doing in that situation? Real talk. If a child accidentally confesses a murder to you, I'm probably gonna report it, but I'm getting my ass away, bro. That is crazy, bro. And the fact that the kid is so chill about it, like, are you not crying about the fact that your mom is gone?
Was screaming that something was very, very wrong. I kept my voice steady and friendly. You know what? I just remembered I need to grab something from the station before the airport. Quick detour, won't charge you extra. The father immediately protested. No, we're in a hurry. Our flight, but I was already taking the exit toward downtown. Won't take but a minute, promise. I could see him in my mirror, his jaw clenching, calculating his options. The boy kept licking his lollipop, humming the Spider-Man theme song. The father tried twice more to get me to stop, even offered to pay me double to skip the detour, but I just kept driving, asking the kid about his favorite superheroes to keep things calm. When I pulled into the police station parking lot, the father's face went white as paper. What are you doing? He hissed. I just need to check something with my dispatcher. I lied, already waving to Officer Jones, who I knew from years of late-night coffee runs. Hey, Jones, got a second? These folks were just telling me about their day at the beach. The father grabbed his bag, trying to leave, but Jones was already approaching, and 2 other officers had noticed the commotion. The boy, still working on his lollipop, asked if police officers had candy too. It took them 45 minutes to find the mother. She was still at the beach, the abandoned section past the nature preserve where hurricane damage...
That's good though, at least they found the mother, but I'm not gonna lie, that gotta be the craziest way to get caught because your son is snitching on you. Not gonna lie, if they don't arrest that dad for a good time, both of the son and mom are both gonna get slimed out.
Damage had never been repaired. She'd been tied to a broken pier post with boat rope, tide coming in, water already up to her chest when they reached her. Hypothermic, dehydrated, terrified, but thankfully, she was alive. Once they interrogated the guy, he spilled that he had planned on cashing in his wife's life insurance policy along with his...
How do y'all feel about just the concept of life insurance? I'm not gonna lie, to some degree I feel like it's it's evil. Like, I understand, oh, people can't afford funerals and whatnot, but I don't plan to get life insurance. How would y'all feel if y'all partner got life insurance on your ass? You not gonna feel a little questionable? I'm good. At the end of the day, y'all gotta realize, bro, insurance is kind of a scam because they're getting a lot of money in profit. So it's like, to some degree, if it's benefiting them that much, somebody's getting scammed.
What teacher lost everyone's respect in one day? I was taking my Spanish state exam when my phone rang. It was my mom's hospice. Your mother is declining fast. She has maybe 30 minutes left if she's lucky. The hospice was 20 minutes away if I walked, 10 if I ran. Miss Vexler didn't even look up from her clipboard. Phone's down during—
What is the craziest scandal in terms of teachers that y'all have? I think to me it was, well, of course, aside from fiddling with kids, I remember a teacher low-key dissing Kobe Bryant when he died.
State exams or automatic fail. No, you don't understand. Your mom's been dying for months now, hasn't she? Convenient timing for test day. She snatched my phone and locked it in her desk drawer. 28 minutes left. My best friend Isabella shot up. Just let him go, please! Miss Vexler planted herself in front of the door like a human barricade. Anyone who helps him leave gets reported for academic dishonesty. Through the desk holes, I could see my phone lighting up with texts. Please hurry, not much time left. That's when the principal's voice crackled over the intercom. Please send Archie Smith to the office for emergency family pickup. My heart jumped, but Miss Vexler walked to the intercom and pressed the button. Hospice said they made a mistake. The student is now taking a state exam. She turned back to me, eyes cold. Don't worry, I'm sure she's used to you disappointing her by now. The words hit like a physical blow. Something snapped in my chest and I couldn't breathe properly. I knew I was having a panic attack. 18 minutes left. Suddenly, the foster kid who never speaks.
Yo, let me find out that I couldn't talk to a dying family member because you kept me in the room to take a test. That is the most valid reason to get your revenge on someone. No, matter of fact, I'm taking revenge on your whole family bloodline, bro.
His mom's the only adult who remembered my birthday. Her cake was the first birthday cake I ever had. Please let him say goodbye. Sit down, Anthony. Anthony's face crumbled, but he sank back into his chair. Miss Vexler scanned the room with narrowed eyes, daring anyone else to speak. You know what I think? She turned back to me, a cruel smile playing at her lips. I bet she's not even sick. Her fingers flew across the thermostat keypad. Probably just wants attention like you always do. Beep. Emergency shelter mode.
Yo, I'm sorry. Why are tests that important to y'all? It shouldn't never be that important. You could always retake the state exam. I don't think there's only one test.
Activated. The door locks clicked. We were sealed in. 15 minutes left. I could still make it if I ran the whole way. My chest was tight now, like someone was sitting on it. My heart was breaking in two. He's having a panic attack! Someone yelled. Maya, the special needs student, was crying now. Everyone laughed at my stutter. His mom taught me breathing exercises every day for free EE. Well, Miss Vexler was standing now.
I've never heard AI special needs, bro. There's no way you had AI stutter on purpose to sound like a special needs kid. That's crazy, bro.
Maybe if Archie spent less time visiting her and more time studying, he wouldn't need to fake emergencies. My Apple Watch buzzed. Mom's heart monitor alert. Her vitals were dropping. 12 minutes. Maybe if I sprinted to see her. I was on my knees now, gasping. Please, she's dying. The classroom phone started ringing. Hello? Is this Archie Smith's high school? His mom is— Beep. Miss Vexler plugged out the phone mid-sentence. Amazing.
What? Nah, these teachers are worse than anime villains at this point, bro. No, there's no way you could be this rude of a teacher. Even if it's a 50-50 chance that you believe this, what makes you think it's okay to do this? No, I swear to God, if this ends in the mom just passes away, this is gonna be wild.
How the hospice knows exactly when we're taking state exams. Ellie, the quiet girl who was always covered in bruises, stood up shaking. She listened to me when no one else did. She saved my life. She wouldn't fake it. Please. Miss Vexler turned on me with pure venom. Well, this is the same mother who got me written up last month. Consider it karma.
I'm sorry, I understand having enemies or people you don't like, but bro, if someone is on the brink of passing away, there's no way you can have a grudge that much, especially if their child is in your class. What's going on, bro?
You're welcome. 8 minutes left. My legs gave out. I was crawling toward the door. That's when Ashley, perfect straight A Ashley, who'd never gotten a detention in her life, climbed on her desk. I have something to confess. Miss Vexler whipped around. Ashley, what are you? I cheated on every test. I stole the answer keys. I hacked your computer. What? Check your computer. It's all there. Miss Vexler abandoned the door, fumbling with her computer password. Ashley turned to me and grabbed my arm. Window, now. The whole class erupted. Desks banging, kids shouting fake confessions. I grabbed a chair with shaking hands. Smash. Glass everywhere. I was through the window, cutting my hands, hitting the ground, running. 6 minutes. I ran like I'd never run before. My chest on fire. Heart shattering with every step. I burst through the hospital.
Y'all think he's gonna make it? I can already imagine. 2 more minutes on the clock. 1 minute. It's GG's. Beep!
I burst through the hospice doors. Room 119. My mom looked so small in that bed. Her skin was paper thin, almost translucent. When I crashed through the door, completely out of breath with blood dripping from my hands, her eyes fluttered open. Mom, I love you so much. I'm so sorry She squeezed my hand, gathering every bit of strength she had left. Her lips moved again. I leaned in close. Her mouth formed the shape of U, but no sound came. Her hand went slack in mine. The entire class burst through the door 5 minutes later. They'd all run after me. The foster kid fell to his knees. Isabella was shaking with rage. Even the class clown just stood there, tears streaming down his face. Miss Vexler had stolen my mother's last words. We all knew what—
Nah, that's actually sad, bro. At least she got the word love out. Nah, but that is fair grounds to like actually get the 1v1 fade. I don't care. There's no way I'm gonna allow you to take away my mother's last words. Next story, what do we got?
On my daughter's 7th birthday, I got a call saying, I want to buy your child. Who is this?
Okay, I'm assuming you're calling from an anonymous number. If you're not calling from an anonymous number, you're just literally asking asking to get arrested.
This. I gripped my phone so hard I thought it might crack. The voice was heavily accented and serious. I'm going to buy your child, okay? The man sounded like he was confirming a business transaction. No, the duck, you're not. But before I could say anything else, the line went dead. I jumped up from the conference table so fast my chair tipped over. My boss was mid-sentence about quarterly projections, but I was already running for the door. My hands shook as I called my wife while sprinting down the hallway toward the parking garage. Jenny picked up on the third ring, sounding stressed. Where's Brenda? Where is she right now? I was practically screaming into the phone. She's in an Uber on the way home from school. I'm stuck at work with this deadline and couldn't pick her up, so I ordered her a
Uber on the way home from school. Did y'all have that much amount of money? Did y'all come home in Ubers? I didn't. I was broke as hell. Y'all was coming home in Ubers? I was walking my ass back home, bro, even if it was a mile. I ain't gonna lie, if your parents could allow y'all to go home in Ubers, you're rich.
a ride. I gave them your number to call when they arrived. Why? What's wrong? Her voice went from confused to worried. The driver just called and said he wants to buy our daughter. Call the police right effing now. I fumbled with my keys trying to unlock my car. Jenny started crying immediately. I could hear her telling her coworkers to call 911 while she sobbed. I tried to stay calm for her, but my mind was racing with every horrible possibility. Brenda was only 7. She just turned 7 that morning. She was tiny for her age and way too trusting of strangers. We'd just gotten her an emergency phone last month, but she barely knew how to use it. I called Brenda's phone.
Okay, this is gonna be a crazy question. How much do children cost?
Over and over while speeding through red lights. Each time it went straight to voicemail with her little voice saying, "Hi, this is Brenda, leave a message." My chest felt like it'd explode. I kept picturing her scared and alone with some creep who wanted to traffic children. Jenny called back hysterical saying she'd given the police the Uber information and car description. It was a gray Corolla with some numbers she'd screenshot. The cops had dispatched units to look for it, but in a city this big that felt impossible. I was driving in circles around Brenda's school, hoping maybe they hadn't gotten far. 15 minutes felt like 15 hours. Every gray car made my heart race. Every kid with a backpack made me do a double take. I was about to completely lose it when Jenny called again. They found her! They found her! She was crying, but it sounded different. Meet us at this address. The police have the driver and Brenda is safe. I've never driven so fast in my life. When I pulled up, there were 3 police cars surrounding a gray Corolla. My heart nearly exploded when I saw Brenda sitting on the curb perfectly fine, eating what looked like chocolate cake. She had frosting on her nose and was chatting with a female officer like nothing was wrong. The driver was a small, older man, probably in his 60s, standing with 2 other officers. He looked terrified and kept gesturing with his hands while trying to explain something. His English was clearly limited, and he kept switching to what sounded like Arabic, or maybe Farsi. I ran-
Okay, then obviously I don't think he meant what he said. Either way, if you have the chance to abduct somebody, right? I'm not saying you should, but why would you call and be like, oh, you know what? How much does your daughter cost? Like, you're literally setting yourself up to be caught.
Ran to Brenda and scooped her up so tight she complained I was squishing her. I kissed her so many times on the cheek, my lips went numb. Jenny arrived seconds later, and we both just held her while crying. "Daddy, why are you being weird?" Brenda asked, pulling back to look at us. "Mr. Rashid gave me birthday cake. He said his bakery made too much and it would go in the garbage. Look, he even wrote my name." She showed us the small cake with "Happy 7 Brenda" written in purple frosting. One of the officers came over and explained what they'd figured out. Mr. Rashid owned a struggling bakery with his wife. When Brenda mentioned it was her birthday during the ride, he wanted to surprise her with leftover cake that would have been thrown out. He'd tried calling to make sure it was okay with the parents first, but his limited English made, "I want to give your child free birthday cake from my bakery" sound like, "I want to buy your child." The poor man-
No, I'm sorry. There is no correlation to that. Like, I understand it for English is broken, but there is a insane amount of difference in between "I want to give your child cake" versus "I want to buy your child." How do you mess up that bad, my boy? Now, I understand if your English is a little broken and you're like, "I want to buy cake." Dude, how do you get it wrong that bad?
was mortified when he understood what had happened. Through a translation app, he kept apologizing and showing pictures of his own grandchildren. He'd been trying to do something nice and instead caused a citywide Amber Alert
Hey man, look, I'm not a creep. I have children. I don't know if that's the best argument, but
His wife showed up and started crying too when she heard what happened. I felt so bad, but also so relieved I couldn't be mad. Brenda was safe, and some sweet old man just wanted to make her birthday special. We ended up going to his bakery the next week and buying so many pastries we fed my whole office. When my boss mentioned needing a reliable driver for airport runs, I immediately recommended Mr. Rashid. Also, I divorced my wife a year later. I don't know why she thought
yeah, my daughter was gonna get abducted. Turns out she didn't. It was a huge mistake. A year later, my wife left me. What was that ball drop? Oh, yeah, I had a bad day. Also, my dog died. Like, this feels like a story time for another day.
What's the most awkward favor someone has ever called in? My phone buzzed at 2 a.m. with a text that made me sit straight up in bed. "Remember that favor you owe me? I need you to be my boyfriend at my sister's wedding this Saturday. Pick me up at 4 p.m. Wear navy." It was from Poppy, the girl who saved my entire college career 3 years ago. I hadn't spoken to her since graduation when I drunkenly promised her anything, anytime, after she spent an entire semester tutoring me through chemistry for free. Without her, I would have lost my scholarship and dropped out. Now she was calling in that favor. And honestly, being someone's fake boyfriend for a day seemed like a small price to pay. Plus, if I was being honest with myself, I'd always wondered what it would have been like to actually date her. When I picked her up that Saturday, Poppy answered the door looking absolutely stunning in an emerald dress that made her green green eyes even brighter. But her expression was all business. She handed me a typed sheet of paper titled Our Relationship Details, with bullet points about our first date, how long we'd been together, and my supposed favorite things about her. 8 months, she said, adjusting my tie without making eye contact. We've been dating 8 months. You call me Pop sometimes. We met at a coffee shop. Her voice was mechanical, like she was reading a grocery list. During the drive, she explained the situation. My parents keep trying to set me up with their business partner's son at every family event. She's perfectly nice, but I'm just not interested. This will shut them up for a while. The whole ride, she was silent. Then when we arrived at the venue, she took a deep breath, grabbed my hand, and suddenly transformed into a—
How do y'all feel about arranged marriages, bro? I'm not gonna lie. We live in the big 25. I'm getting to know who I'm marrying, bro. I'm sorry. The concept of knowing you have to forever settle down with a recommendation, that's insane to me, bro. That feels so outdated.
completely different person. Ready, babe, she said with a bright smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. The ceremony was beautiful. I caught Poppy wiping her eyes during the vows, and without thinking, I handed her my pocket square. She looked surprised, but took it, whispering thanks, so quietly, I almost missed it. During the reception, I found myself forgetting this was an act. When her uncle made a toast, I instinctively put my arm around her shoulders. When the music was too loud to hear her cousin's story, I leaned down so she could whisper it in my ear, her breath warm against my neck. Her grandmother cornered us by the dessert table, pinching my cheeks and telling Poppy in a stage whisper, this one's much better than Adrian. Poppy went rigid at the name, but I squeezed her hand and smoothly changed the subject to Grandma's famous apple pie recipe. The couple's dance was when everything shifted. Poppy was stiff in my arms, counting steps under her breath like she was solving an equation. Hey, I whispered, pulling her closer. Just follow me. Stop thinking so hard. She looked up at me, and for a moment, her guard completely dropped. She melted into me, her head finding that perfect spot against my shoulder. We swayed together as the song played, and I found myself hoping it would never end. Then during the—
Let me find out that they're actually in love now, bro. Come on, bro. Let me find out this little gig turns out to be real romance, bro.
toss, she caught it by accident when it bounced off another girl's hands. The crowd cheered, but Poppy immediately handed it to the girl beside her, laughing it off. Just superstition anyway, she said, but I noticed her looking at the flowers longingly as the other girl walked away. Her sister pulled me aside while Poppy was in the bathroom. Thank you, she said, squeezing my arm, for making her happy, even if it's just for tonight. The words stuck with me. As the night wound down, I realized I wasn't acting anymore. When I looked at her laughing with her cousins, I felt a pull in my chest that had nothing to do with owing her a favor. Driving her home, I couldn't keep it in anymore. Poppy, I know this was just repaying a debt, but tonight felt real to me. Really real. She went completely still in the passenger seat.
Yo, chill, bro. You getting me blushing and shit like that, bro. Chill, bro. My ass has been lonely for like 21 years. I can't hear this, bro.
When I pulled up to her apartment, she practically jumped out of the car. You did great. Perfect fake boyfriend. We're even now. The words came out rushed and cold. She was already at her building's door before I could respond. I sat there for 5 minutes, feeling like an idiot before driving home. The next morning, Poppy's sister texted me. You left your jacket. Coffee shop on 5th Street? When I arrived, she was sitting with Poppy's old chemistry notebook from college. She's going to kill me for this, the sister said, sliding it across the table. The margins were filled with notes about me, not chemistry notes. He remembered my coffee order. His smile, when he finally understood ionic bonds, stayed an extra hour to help me with my own exam. Page after page of moments I'd completely missed. The sister explained everything. The parents never tried to set her up with anyone. Adrian was a high school boyfriend who told her she was too much when she confessed her feelings. Poppy never dated anyone after college, convinced she'd misread every signal. She was moving to Chicago next month for her dream job and called in the favor as a last shot to spend time with me before giving up forever. I drove straight to her apartment. She opened the door in pajamas, eyes puffy from crying. Before she could speak, I held up the notebook. Your sister showed me this. Her face went pale. That's so embarrassing. I kissed her, cutting off whatever self-deprecating thing she was about to say. When we pulled apart, I kept her face in my hands. I'm an idiot who needed chemistry help in more ways than one. I should have seen it 3 years ago. She started crying again, but this time she was smiling. So, what about Chicago? She asked. I pulled her closer. I hear it's beautiful this time of year. Plus, I still owe you. The favor was being your boyfriend for a day. Falling in love with you, that's just interest.
Do y'all ever see how amazing other relationships are and you're like, I don't feel like I'm gonna get that? Not to be on no depressing shit, but I just feel like the chances of you liking someone the same way that they like you is so rare nowadays. It's like one person will like you more than another person, and I feel like it can't work out like that. If y'all don't love each other equally, it's just not gonna feel right, bro.
My ex-best friend told me to just get over her sleeping with my boyfriend, so I made sure she—
Yo, be honest with me, bro. How much of y'all ever crush on one of your friends' love interests or like find them attractive? This is a judge-free zone. How much of y'all look at one of your friends' love interests and you're like, damn, like I would like them too? I have once before. Did I act upon it? Hell no.
learned the true meaning of those words. Catching them cheating was the worst thing I ever experienced, and yet she somehow made it even worse. When she told me to just get over it, I filed those words away. 6 months later, when I met her new church boy boyfriend, I made sure he'd never get over what she'd done. We were the kind of friends who had matching tattoos and synced periods, like a 2-person cult minus the Kool-Aid. 8 years of sleepovers, shared Netflix passwords, and knowing each other's coffee orders by heart had bonded us completely. She had a key to my apartment, knew my ATM pin, and had held my hair back through food poisoning and bad breakups. Then Jake happened, and suddenly she was sampling my boyfriend like he was a Costco free sample. I found out the classic way when I walked into his apartment with Chinese takeout to surprise him after his work emergency. Her shoe sat by the door, and that stupidly expensive—
Do y'all think the finest person in this world could get in between you and your best friend? Like, let's say you find the love of your life, but you have to sacrifice your closest friend. Are y'all doing it? Yes or no?
purse she'd bought last month rested on the counter. I found them in his kitchen, where she was wearing his Columbia Law shirt that I'd bought him for Christmas. After I was done crying, they admitted they'd been at it for over 3 months. 3 months of me venting to her about our relationship problems while she was actively creating them. We met at her apartment the next day, where she shifted from fake crying to irritation in record time. She said we were adults, and insisted these things happen, and that I was being so dramatic. When I wouldn't accept her half-assed apology, she actually rolled her eyes and delivered the 4 words that would destroy her. Just get over it. Those words hit differently when they come from someone who knows your dad—
Yeah, I might have piped your man, but just get over it. I know that might have been your boyfriend and you might have loved him, but just get over it. over it. All it was a little bit of coochie action going on. How do you just say get over it to something that's crazy as smashing? Am I the only one that feels like, bro, smashing is like super intimate and I don't know why society made it a sport? Like, I feel like people talk about having bodies like it's like a normal like thing, but if you really think about it, you're getting butt ass naked in front of someone else and letting them enter you, bro. I just don't see how people could do some shit like that casually. Now, I'm not knocking you for doing it. I'm just thinking to myself, bro, if I was giving myself to everybody, to some degree, I'd be feeling like, ugh, like, I don't know, I'd be feeling like I'm used, bro. That's just me. To each their own, though.
What is an unspoken, universal rule all males know?
If you're in the bathroom with your homies, you have to compare your meats. Like, it's mandatory. You also, if you're really close with your friends, sometimes you gotta do like nut competitions to see which nut goes the farthest. Like, that is like unspoken. Right?
When you reach a certain age, you must groan when either sitting or standing up even if there is absolutely no pain whatsoever. When leaving, you must smack your pockets to make sure everything is there.
I feel like that's a universal thing, men and women. Generally speaking, you're gonna check your pockets to see if everything is in there.
The wide step. You all know.
Oh my goodness, bro. I feel like as men, one of the hardest things we have to do is control our boners, bro. Y'all ever been next to your crush wearing sweats and it's like, oh my goodness, like I gotta find the most natural way. Every guy in my chat knows the tug method, bro. The tug method where you gotta like, and you're trying to play it off as natural as you can so you don't look crazy. I'm telling y'all, bro, that gotta be one of the most awkward things to do. Especially if you're around a girl you like, bro.
No. When there's a choice between urinals, use the one that minimizes the chances of neighboring another occupied urinal.
Facts! Yo, if there's 6 urinals and I'm in the one in the middle, you better choose the one all the way to the left or all the way to the right. Because if you're right next to me, then I'm gonna just assume you just wanna look over my penis.
Of neighboring another occupied urinal. Every time you grab the tongs, click them twice to make sure they work. If a hood on a car is open, you must stand in a circle around it. If anything is floating in the toilet when you pee, it instantly becomes a target. You must stand by your bro while he's grilling, and make comments about the level of awesome it's going to be. If a friend buys you a drink, you don't pay it back, you just buy the next round. You must let out a sigh of satisfaction when sitting down on a lawn chair. Anytime you're strapped down a load, you must slap it and say that ain't going no.
Every time you strap down a load? What does this mean? You strap down a load, you must slap it and say that ain't going nowhere. Why does that sound so freaked out?
Where? Trust me, just do it. You cannot call shotgun in a friend's car if he has his girlfriend/wife in the group.
Nah, fuck that. I'm calling shotgun. Your ass can sit in the back. Real shit. I'm sorry. Yo, shout out to you, but I've been friends with my dog.
You can shake and you can dance, but the last drops always end up in your pants. What is an unspoken?
That's true. Oh my goodness. As a dude, when you're taking a leak and then you're wiggling it so you make sure every drop goes by, but then you feel like you wiggled it to a degree where it's only gonna come out when you put it back in your pants. Annoying feeling, bro.
I want to leave my girlfriend who was roped. I realize right up front that I'm going to come across as a jerk and I will probably get lots of hate for this, but I'm looking for all points of view. Also, this is going to be very long because I just don't know what to leave out and honestly I need to vent some. Here is the story. A year ago, actually a year and a month ago, my girlfriend was roped as she was leaving work. Thankfully she was not unalived, however her attacker did threaten her with a weapon. Fortunately the store she works at had cameras in the parking lot, and between them getting video of the attack and the bank across the street getting the attacker's car on camera, the police were able to catch him within a day. Between the video and DNA testing, he did not even contest, he just pleaded guilty in exchange for not receiving the max. Since there were aggravating circumstances, the weapon, the judge gave him a 20-year sentence, and with time for good behavior he can be out in about 10 years.
I'm so curious to hear what this guy's gonna say. Yo, imagine your girl goes to something as sensitive as getting raped, and your first thought is, you know what? I don't think this is gonna work. You gotta be the biggest asshole ever, bro.
Give or take. I tell you all of that to make it clear that her attacker is no longer a threat. She doesn't have to fear him coming back for her, at least for 10 years or so. Obviously this was a very traumatic event in her life, and while I was not a victim per se, it was also very traumatic for me as well. I can't imagine what she has gone through, and I don't compare my situation to her at all. But I have had severe bouts of depression because I couldn't protect her, and knowing someone else was harming her sometimes was almost more than I could handle. Right after the incident she did not want to see me. I get that. It hurt, but I understood. Her parents picked her up from the hospital and I did not see or hear from her for a week, which I sort of get, but I think I could have gotten a text or something just saying she was okay. Finally a week and her sister calls me and lets me know that she is staying with her parents and she will be calling me in a couple of days. She never called me. Instead I once again get a text from her sister saying she would like me to come over for a few minutes so we can talk. I get up and go over and am greeted at the door by her mother, who very calmly and very coldly starts laying out to me how I am to act and what I am to say. I am further instructed to not attempt to make any physical contact with her, as in hug or anything. Okay, Again, I get it. Major trauma. I'm sure they have been coached by therapists/counselors or something in what to say and do around her, so I play along. I walk in and she is sitting on a chair with her dad standing next to her and her sister sitting on the couch. As I walk in the room, the sister starts talking and telling me that my girlfriend wants me to know that she is okay, but obviously she has been traumatized and appreciates my understanding in her recovery.
Okay.
She never said one single word to me and barely looked at me. Again, this was right after the event and I'm understanding that this is how it has to be. But honest to God, that entire conversation was just awkward as hell. I leave, go home and attempt to focus on how I can help her. I start Googling how to deal with a rope survivor and what I can expect. She starts going to therapy initially 2 times a week, then after 2 months it goes down to 1 day a week. In the meantime, she finally—
What are y'all thoughts on this? Is what he's doing acceptable?
—makes contact with me and asks to meet at a coffee shop. I get there and she is already there and waiting. At this point in time they had her so medicated that I was dealing with a zombie for the most part. There was no emotion and she was very methodical in her speech. Basically she wanted to get together that day to tell me that she couldn't go out with me for a while until she got past some issues she was dealing with. Of course I told her I understood. This was almost a month after the attack and this was our first conversation by ourselves, so I was already living under this assumption. I told her I would be there for her and that whatever she needed, whether that be space or a shoulder to cry on or anything, I was there for her. I started to tell her that I loved her and she stopped me. She told me that right now she didn't want to hear that and that I had to respect her wishes. I was once again—
Okay, I'm curious to see where this is gonna go. The way I saw it was, oh, he heard that she got, raped and he was like, I'm sorry, I gotta go. But what it's looking like is like she won't let him in, obviously, because she got attacked and it's now like, this is kinda,
Again, a little hurt and frankly surprised, but I said whatever she wanted. She starts texting me the next day. Little things, nothing important, but I think it is a big step in getting back to where we were. This goes on for another month and a half. I finally asked her at the month and a half mark if we could meet for dinner. She didn't reply for 2 days and then said that she had to wait for to talk to her therapist. Finally she agrees to this but sets the date for another month away. Now mind you, this is almost 4 months after the attack and so far I've had one physical conversation.
Okay, you know what? Yeah, the title was definitely a little misleading and sounded much worse than it was. Like, I thought he was just disgusted about the fact that she even got, great. But it's more like, I'm trying to open up, but you're just not the same person that you were. And it's not because there's anything wrong with you, but it's just kind of like, I'm not getting the same person that I fell in love with.
With her in person and one bizarre conversation with her and her family. Oh yay, I need to mention this. I am not being updated on her progress by anyone. Granted, I realize that I am not officially family nor am I entitled to do anything, but it would have been nice to just get a text or call or something from someone telling me that she was doing good in therapy or was not or anything. We go out to eat at a small bistro that we ate at all of the time. I met her there and I was waiting for her to show up. After sitting for a half hour waiting, I text to see what was up. I just get a text of on my way. She finally arrives and sits down. I ask her how she has been and she snapped at me and told me to not ask her personal questions. We ate and after dinner I wanted to just sit and
How you been is a personal question?
talk because I missed the person I had talked to almost every day for the previous 3 years. But when she was done eating she said that she was ready to go home. I asked her if she could stay for just a few minutes to talk, but I could see that she was becoming physically anxious and I did not want to upset her, so I said that I loved her and missed her. She just walked away. She goes back to texting me the next day like nothing had been wrong. We actually start to see each other once a week for lunch and she is getting more and more comfortable with being out, so she sits and talks a while. She has also started a new job which she tells me about. This goes on for another 4 months. I'm happy to see her and all, but honestly I'm very lonely and we have not even so much as held hands. Then one day she doesn't show up for lunch. I text to see if she is okay. No reply. I call her parents to see if they know where she is and to make sure she is okay. I got the runaround from them and by this time I'm starting to get upset because I don't want to know where she was at or anything, I just wanted to know if she was okay. After actually saying that, her mom says, yes she is okay but don't expect to hear from her for a while. Well, that makes me start to thinking she is
okay. Yo bro, if there's like a year of no contact or like we're not showing no level of affection, then I think what it looks like is he still cares for her, but it's like it's hard to have a romantic connection with someone that's not opening up to you, and especially if it's for that prolonged. I don't know, I don't think he's an asshole for this.
Relapse and is in the hospital. But what can I do? All I do is go home and try and take my mind off of it. 2 weeks pass with nothing from anybody. I'm trying my best to be reasonable here, but basically I call her sister and ask if she is still alive or what. She knew I was getting frustrated, so she apologizes, but that her sister told them to specifically not let me talk to her. At this point I break down. I don't know what I've done wrong here. I have not pushed her. I have not tried to get her to be with me in any way other than to just talk to me, and even then I have had very generic conversations so as to not upset her. I then get a text from her asking if I would meet with her at an address I wasn't familiar with, but once I looked it up I determined this was a therapist office. I am told be there at 4, which meant I had to leave work early to get there. I check in at the front desk and I'm told that the therapist wants to speak to me alone for a few minutes. She comes in and I now know where the parents were getting this from, because after formally greeting me she then started to provide me with a list of do's and don'ts. She then told me that my GF wanted to speak to me and had something to tell me. I go in and she is sitting on one chair and I am instructed to sit in the other. She has a box of tissues and has been crying. The therapist tells me that I am here because my girlfriend has something to tell me and that she wanted the safety of therapist office to feel safe. She then proceeds to tell me that the reason she did not meet me for lunch that day is because she was with another guy, somebody from her new job, and that they had been intimate with each other. She might as well have taken a weapon out and shot me.
Okay, no, bro, not doing anything wrong. What? So you not opening up to me, but you go open up to another man? Fuck no. Nah, bro didn't do anything wrong.
It couldn't have hurt anymore. I just dropped my head and begin to cry. The therapist then pipes in with some logic about her taking back her sexuality since she was attacked and how this wasn't cheating in the same sense of cheating.
No, the fuck not. That is textbook cheating. There's no excuse for cheating. Oh, she's opening up. You know what? That shows progress. No, don't get me wrong. She went through a very traumatizing event. Of course, people are gonna need to take time to heal. But if we're in a relationship and you sleep with somebody else consensually, we're done. That's just what it is.
My girlfriend then proceeds to tell me that she does not want to lose me and that she is just very messed up in the head and that it was a one-time thing and blah blah blah. I feel very trapped at that moment. I felt like I was ganged up on, and the more I set the matter I got. I finally just said to her, "You haven't so much as held my hand in the past half year yet you can go."
Yeah, you ain't even go hold my hand. Like, it's one thing if you're actually like hugging me in our hand. You gave up your cheeks to another dude. When it comes to holding my hand, hey, slow down. When it comes to opening up the butt for another person, you gonna spread it wide open? How does it make sense?
Some guy you met at work while I sit like an idiot waiting for my junior high like date. This of course caused her to go into hysterics and the therapist asked me to leave. I apologized and told her to text me if she wants to keep working this out. I get that text later that day. Now she is all chatty and crap telling me that this was the worst mistake of her life and please talk to her. I tell her that I don't know if I can go on with this but agree to meet her. I flat out tell her right up front when I see her that for me to even consider going forward with this that she has to cut this other guy off period. She tells me that is impossible because they work together and I tell her
no. Are work relationships an actual thing? Like, do people actually have work relationships? Is this like a common thing? If I'm in a relationship and my girl has like a co-work relationship, that's gonna feel a little weird.
that I'm sorry but I won't even consider it if she is going to see this guy every day. She decides to find another job and after talking with my sister who I have told everything to, she said that while it is not common, some women do attempt to have intimacy after being attacked so that they feel like they have power again. Now why I am not the one who she did this with I have no idea, but I know I feel like I am being punished for something I did not even do. She changes jobs and we go back to our lunches and I do this twice when I tell her that I am getting a little tired of just meeting for lunch and doing nothing else, so she agrees to come over to watch TV with me. That has been it up until tonight. Tonight she came over and we watched 2 movies and ate pizza. During the second movie I tried to give her a kiss. Nothing more, just a kiss. She backs away as though I was a cross and she was a vampire and tells me she is not ready for that yet.
Okay, you know what? I don't think he's leaving her because of her situation. I think he's leaving her because she's just not affectionate anymore and she just doesn't like him in the way that he wants to be like. And that's okay.
Okay. Not my finest moment here I admit, but I tell her that it's been a year and a month and I have not tried one goddamn thing with her or forced her into anything, and yet she willingly F some other guy months ago, but here I am still waiting to hold hands. She of course starts crying, but this time I'm not as fast to apologize. I do apologize for the tone of my voice and tell her that I would never try and force her to do anything against her will, but honestly I feel like I've been kept on the outside. I've been cheated on. I don't give 2 craps what they call it. She willingly had unprotected intimacy with someone else, and I feel like I have done everything to try and be a supportive boyfriend. I tell her that honestly I don't want her to text me until I decide what I'm going to do. I don't want to be unfair to her, but by the same token a year is a long time and we are really no closer to being back to normal than we were 6 months ago, and I have no idea how long this will go on. Now here is the part where if you didn't think I was jerk before, you will now. I am just tired of not having intimacy. Look, I certainly understood not trying anything right afterwards and even months afterwards, but it's been over a year and we're not even holding hands, and frankly,
yeah, my boy not even getting buns. All he wants is to hold hands and he can't even do that. And he waited a year and he's finding out that she opened up her cheeks to someone else. I think those are fair grounds to decide you don't want to be in a relationship with someone.
The fact that she has been with someone else since this incident is unaliving me inside. So I told her that I'm going to think things through and promise to talk with her next week sometime. But as it stands tonight, I think I'm done. I love her. I hate the idiot who ruined both of our lives. I know this isn't her fault and I hate that I feel like crap no matter what I do. If I stay I'm going to be resentful, and even if she comes over tomorrow and has intimacy with me, it will feel like either pity intimacy or desperation intimacy. But I know ending this will be punishing her for something that isn't her fault either. Advice. My God, this is way too long. TL, Dr. GF was roped over a year ago. In the meantime I have given her space and let her deal with things as she deems fit. We have not been together intimately since the attack, She on the other hand has been with another guy since. I think I'm done but looking for advice.
YouTube, let me know what y'all think about this situation. Is he in the wrong? Is he in the right? Let me know which Reddit story time you thought was the craziest. Join us on Twitch. Make sure to subscribe. Road to 1 million subs. All that good stuff, man. Likes are for life. Love y'all.